Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pixel Classroom podcast here for the summer learning series here. I apologize for people who saw time for an hour earlier. There was a mess up. I do not know why. I have adjusted it too. I unfortunately could not change anything on LinkedIn, as LinkedIn does not have the interface yet here to do allow time change versus other social media platforms. Also, if anybody is looking for me, I am now on, of course, Threads, the new one right now that you can find out at Herc78 if you want to on Threads. If you're looking to follow me for some education, I'm just getting started on there. It just went live today. But today I'm actually going to do a little piece on here too. So I'm just going to go ahead and show on here. So I'm doing a little something using our buddy Canva, and I'm actually going to use the newest book here, which is Lead with Collaboration. I will be doing a book review of this later in the beginning of the school year on my regular podcast audio edition. But this, of course, here is Lead with Collaboration, Complete Guide for Transforming Staff Meetings by Allyson Apsey and Jessica Gomez. Fantastic book here, but there were a lot of pieces I really, really liked here, and I actually bookmarked, because I love doing my tabs, but some stuff I'm hoping that you guys can create for not only staff meetings, but also for the classroom. So I bookmarked 3, and I'm actually going to use Canva to do this too. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little piece on there once I mute my Apple Watch, because I thought I muted it and I did not. So one of the first ones I'm going to go into here, and you definitely are allowed to check here, but it's, of course, show and tell bingo. This is basically an activity used for templates to create show and tell boards lined with inches of gold. Now there is a QR code on here, but I'm actually going to show you how to create one here if you want to make your own version on Canva here. But there's some really great ones that Allyson did with this one for show and tell bingo, which was used for beginning of the school year and mid-year refresher, and it customized the bingo board for thing. And basically it's to share ideas with others to complete the bingo bots, write down colleagues' names and the idea in the box, make sure you have a different name for each box. And when you fill all 3 boxes cross diagonal, of course, hit bingo. So I'm going to show you how to make one of these really quick for your staff. And I'm going to go right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and go right in here. And honestly, that's one thing I love about Canva is you can just find templates right away. So you can just put in bingo card or just bingo, B-I-N-G-O, and bingo is his name. And you just see there's already a bunch on here, and they will give you some templates. I'm going to do share all. I am on educational. We are moving to district later on here, but there are several ones here too. So you have the ones that are blank in one areas too. And like I said, the one Allyson uses is a 6 square bingo here, but I'm going to go ahead and do a really quick right here too. I actually like this template right here. So I'm going to go to this one here, and we're going to customize this template. So I'm going to go ahead and do little pieces on here who are doing this show and tell. So first thing I'm going to do, once it loads, there it goes, is I'm going to go ahead and change this one. So I'm going to change this, of course, to show and tell bingo. So I'm going to get rid of the decimal here, and I'll be show and tell. And I'm going to go ahead and shrink that text down here. Going with one of the areas here, I can just shrink it right on down like so. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and center that. Look at that. Oh, that looks nice already. I actually like the color. And I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the other persons here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the dialogue here. And of course, we can just zoom on in here right here. It's filling out the column right here. It says with random decimal note thousand place. Well, I'm going to put in with the name of the staff member. With a name of a staff member. And of course it says tip here. Look, tip. I'm going to put in the look for practices and student engagement. Once I spell student right. There we go. And right here is the thing in process. So we'll just do it here. I'm going to say cross out the bingo in those positions. And I'm just going to do that right there. And first main thing wins bingo here. And then as you can see, there's more here. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one. There we go. So I'm going to put in the teacher, grade level, keep this all the same. I like this little area. I'm going to do show and tell. So I'm just going to pop in my elements and then look up show and tell and see what comes up. Oh, I love it. Do that one. Oh, I like it. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to put that over here. I'm going to shrink that down. I really don't have to do too much. I kind of like this one here, but remember, if you can click on the transparency flag and you can lighten it up a little bit. Oh, I like that. It looks very nice. And if you don't like the blue, you can always change the color. I actually like this blue. It's kind of actually a teal. So I'm going to go ahead and put in here. Of course, I'm going to get my free space. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to my text box, and I'm just going to use one of the cool little here. I'm going to use Rodeo, and I'm just going to call this free. And I'll shrink that down holding the shift key. I am on a Mac, just so everybody wonders. I'll put that in the center one. I'll shrink it a little bit more, and I will change the color so it shows up a little bit better. Just do that. Let's get rid of this. Let's make it a darker color. I'm going with this. Yeah, the yellow works. I think the darker, there we go, darker blue. I'll do that. Center here. And of course, I'm just going to show up in a couple of examples how to do this. So one would be classroom routines that help keep materials organized. So I'm going to go over here. I'm just going to go over here to text box and add subheading. And I'm going to put that in my first one here. I'm just going to say right here, if I can type correctly, there we go. There it goes. I'm just going to put in a classroom routine that helps keep materials organized. And I'll just go ahead and spell correct that. One thing I am hoping that Canva will get eventually here is we'll get the spell correction right here. And like I said, I'll just shrink that down and I'll put down the points a little bit. That's a little too small. Let's try that up. There we go. Shrink that. There we go. And I'll just get that in materials, put it down by point a little bit, squish it a little bit more. And that looks not too bad here. I mean, if I want to, I can make it a little bit bigger and centerize that a little bit, use my little check mark. Now, of course, it's still here. I can just go ahead and clone that. So I can just click on the box here. And of course, I can duplicate that. And now I'm going to put in an interesting bingo here. I want to put in one that I use in my classroom is use of STEM practices. So I'm going to put in use of STEM practices. And I'll see that right there. And I would just keep on going and doing all these. And what's so really good about Canva here is too, you can keep a digital version of this. Otherwise you can, of course, print these out. I always highly recommend if you're gonna do anything on paper, if it's going to be like several here, yeah, definitely do it as a PNG and then put it into a little template, like a Google Slides or PowerPoint template, and then just print out several ones to do it. But otherwise, if you want to have a master template, I always would do a PDF print if you want to do a large one. But I would go ahead and do this and then just kind of go all different little practice. I mean, other ones that are talked on here is about activity to help teachers really know their students, activities to get students in pairs or groups. One I would like to do is like activity that's interactive and allows think, pair, share. One which would be is like, one where you could sell tickets to and so forth, and just use those practices. So that would be doing the show and tell bingo there right here. So if you want to do that, run too. But like I said, if you check out the book, there is a QR code to this. So it's pretty good on that. So just so everybody sees that. All right, I'm going to go down to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and change this to my show and tell bingo template. So I'm going to just do that. I'm going to save this for later. Show and tell bingo template. There we go. Beautiful. I will be doing one a little later on this here, and I will share this on my social media so people can make a template here. Remember, if you ever need a template, just do share, and you just go to more. And of course, you can go ahead and make a template link right here to that. So I will share that later on my social media platform. So let's close this one up. Next one, I'm going to actually go in here, which I thought was really kind of cool, was the handoff bracelet. So this is an activity that's great when wanting to bring joy. This is on page 25. Each player has 1 minute to thread as many Fruit Loops or Cheerios as possible into a pipe cleaner, and then put the catch that they only can use one hand. Once you finish stringing the cereal, you have to turn the pipe cleaner into a bracelet. So optional is have the prize person who must use a cereal bracelet. So I really kind of like this because now that one is physical. You would have to use it as a physical. I'm just throwing this out here. I'm not going to do this one on Canva. I'm going to do the next one next to it, which of course is winner or losers, where of course use activity where you can help staff members find the good in challenge situations. So right here, staff member shares a true and personal work-related memory that was negative, and the partner and group tells the different silver lines to the bad experience. So I'm going to put this one in. So to do this one, believe it or not, is actually a mind map or brainstorming. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a mind map. And it's going to pop things all right over here. So right here is an example. I really like this one right here, but I'm going to put this right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the mind map one here. I'll customize this one, cream green it's called. And this, I'm going to go ahead and redo this one, which is called winner or loser. So I'm going to go ahead and do winner or loser. So I'm going to put the central idea of what my story was in this too. I'm going to say what that was here. I'm going to say what the story was behind it, what happened to it, whether what I learned from it, and then of course what was switched with roles if I could repeat the project, and then where they felt to reframe the negative experience. So what I'll do here is my first part of the main idea. I'm going to talk about an experience that was really pretty good too here, but one example, which was many years ago, is I accidentally shared a project 2 days earlier over a lesson. I didn't know it posted on Google Classroom, and students, by the time I got to the lesson, and I completely had missed this, and it was actually long before COVID too. So this is a story. So I'm going to go ahead, and here is the early post is what I'm going to call it. So I'm going to change this to story. Add posted video and assignments for a future project on Classroom. Students completed it 2 days before we were to begin project. Now, some people are like, "Oh, Ryan, that doesn't seem like a bad start." Well, there's a little bit more to this story. So the stock, so say, and I want to put in the negative. The negative of this story. This this was keyed to a speaker coming in for job projects. Um, it was supposed to be done interactive with the speaker and ended up messing up 3 days of lessons. Because what was supposed to happen with this here, I'm just doing the bullet points on this here. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down here really quick here once I do a little spelling correcting, because spelling counts. But what happened is this was supposed to be a speaker. It was going to come on, and we were supposed to do a job interview little piece here. And we were supposed to have the speaker come in doing key points. They were supposed to do the interactive of their goals of what they want, what the speaker had talked about. They were then to type up their lessons and everything, and that would have gone to a resume. The resume would then gone to a point here for a manifesto, and then they would have had it all set together, and then we would have picked people to actually, do the mock interviews for based on those pieces, and they would have checked about the original notes to how the interview went. Well, with them doing the assignment and everything else too, it was kind of thrown out early, so the speaker couldn't do the interactive with them, so it messed up the time. The speaker basically just did their information. We had to restructure it, and it just turned into a whole issue. So as a result, so saying I'll be putting positive spin is what I'm going to call this. So positive spin allowed more interactions with the class and speaker, because then we were able to take more personal questions for them. They actually mock interviewed them right in the class a week before we were supposed to do this. So it was a great little thing with the speaker and students. Mock interview process. And the final result for this story here, I'm pretty much say here too, had to dump to other lessons, didn't make checkpoints, and interviews were technically canceled. Because with that done, we pretty much did all the mock interviews there with the speaker. There was no point to do it, so we ended up having kind of a free day as a thing, which was good. The kids liked the free day, but that's it. So now I've done all this. So here's my story. So then what would happen here is I give them the template. And what they would do is they would simply just go right over here and click on the clone duplicate page here. And what they would do is then they would go ahead and reflect on this, just like they said here in the book. So they would say right here, end of thing, they then switch roles, and then they repeat the process, and then end up having staff share with their ideas. I think this is a really good idea. And then what you do, you build it on the one-handed bracelet, because they take the ideas of how that worked and try to do their best to, of course, get the handed, so that way they can turn a negative into a positive. So I thought that was a really good idea. I could do with Canva as well. So that's what it is on that one. So everybody else has been pretty good on this one. So what I'm going to end up doing here, I just realized that the tab did not share correctly. There is all the information. I apologize for that, but here's the information. I have to switch these tabs over, and I didn't do that. I'm so sorry about that. So hold on, and we'll get that up in over 18. Speaking of made a negative into a positive here, remember everybody, always hit that share tab, so that way, or just do full screen so you don't make up that mess, and check back with your live studio. So I just made a boo-boo. Don't do that, everybody. Here is, though, the mind map I just said. I'll zoom it in here. So I took the original story I told you about. I did the story here, changed the template about how I posted the classroom, messed up with things for a project was 2 days. Negative is it messed up a lot of the things with the speaker. It was supposed to be interactive and a couple other things. Positive was a lot better interactive with the speaker and students. The bad news is we didn't hit the point thing. We had dumped 2 other lessons as a result that didn't work on this. And we basically had a catch-up day, and then I did a mini quiz and an outside project day. So it was kind of positive, but it's not. But once they see the story, you give them the template link, and then they go ahead and hit the clone button here, duplicate page, and they go ahead and do the reflection. And do that. So there's that one. I'm going to go ahead and do my final one here thing, which is, of course, is I love this one right here, the letting writer party. So for this activity, you will need blank cards and a pen. You don't need to do that. You can if you want to. If you have got a computer, this is a great one to do it. And what you want to do is you will add a little extra flair. You'll have fun with fancy pens and marker. At the end of the meeting, you are to provide 5 or 10 minutes by plenty for each person to write 1 or 2 thank you cards to a colleague or student or family member. So we do actually do this at my school. We actually always get a set of cards and we actually write a letter. Sometimes some of us do colors and pictures, but you really can do a great one here as a thank you card on the template. So what I just look up as we do this part, you go right here and you go to thank you card. So I'll go right over here to this, put up thank you card. Luckily, I'm checking to make sure this is shared correctly, so go me. So there it is. But you have all these nice little thank you cards. So you just go ahead and pick a template. And one thing I love about Canva, because you can just do so much with this too. So I go ahead and just pick up a little area on this and just click on this thank you card. And I just do my template. I use little pieces to make it and stuff. So that's a great little way to do it. So that's a little something to do it here too. I am going to have to go. I am actually having some internet problems, so I apologize for all this, but thank you for everybody who's come to this. So go ahead and check this out on my little things and rewatch, but definitely check out the book Lead with Collaboration here by Allyson Apsey and Gomez. And I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.